Hello, Bobby, aka Asby Media here, and in this video, I am going to be talking about the psychology of the Sephiroth Remnants, Jenova, and Aerith in, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, which remains to this day one of my favorite CGI films of all time, and developed in me a keen interest in the Final Fantasy mythology in general. Now, one of the core themes of Final Fantasy VII Advent Children is family, motherhood, and differing perspectives on how these things function, as best exemplified by Jenova and Aerith. Now, much in the same way that Sephiroth is the Yang to Cloud's Yin, Jenova is the Yang to Aerith's Yin. And indeed, much as Sephiroth once possessed Cloud prior to the events of Advent Children, Aerith was once possessed by Jenova. Again, prior to the events of the film. And so keeping this in mind, the fact that Jenova is ultimately defeated by Aerith's water seems particularly karmic. Another contrast between Jenova and Aerith is the fact that Aerith has all the qualities of a mother, yet rejects the title, whereas Jenova accepts the title but has none of the qualities. After all, a mother is a very human thing, and Jenova looks down on human beings, seeing herself as a goddess from the stars hovering above a bunch of meat puppets. And this lack of respect for the self-determination of her children is another, and her underestimation of the human will in general is ultimately Jenova's downfall in the end. Now, the Sephiroth remnants are interesting in that whereas there are many villains who are older than they appear on the surface, the remnants are a rare case of villains who are in fact younger than they appear on the surface. As Vincent Valentine tells Cloud, they are technically only 3 years old, explaining their general childlike demeanor, worship of Jenova carried over from their original counterpart. And the Remnants leader, Kadaj, also shows signs of borderline personality disorder, dependency disorder. And indeed, until the very end of the film, when he is purified by Aerith's water, Kadaj is not acting of his own free will. The remnants, unlike Sephiroth, are not truly evil. They are essentially innocent children who are being influenced to commit acts of chaos and evil by Sephiroth and Jenova's dark influence, and interestingly enough, the of the remnants, Kadaj is the most unstable, yet also the leader. And the contrast between his Jenova influenced persona for most of the film, and the innocent little boy he truly is deep down, is the starkest of all of them. Whereas Laws is the most outwardly childlike, Um, and and um, and in fact, um, and in fact, his reaction to the purification of Aerith's water um, is one of disgust, whereas Kadaj's um, is a peaceful embrace, which once again um, starkly demonstrates the extent of Jenova's influence over him prior to that moment. And and whilst Kadaj is a leader, he seems to somewhat crave domination, which makes him particularly susceptible to Jenova and Sephiroth's influence. Also, the Remnants, very much in keeping with this general childlike persona, because again, they actually are children, despite physically appearing to be teenagers or young adults. Which is why they never seek sexual relations with women. Actually, the Remnants have a refreshingly progressive view of female characters for such reactionary villains. Like every female is either a mother or a respected sister. So there, and at the end of the film, it seems as though Aerith's water has freed mankind from Jenova's evil influence for good at last. But Sephiroth Sephiroth's final line, "I will never be a memory," referring to both himself and Jenova, who have essentially merge through the Jenova cells, calls this seemingly happy ending's veracity into question. But, of course, only time will tell whether we've heard the last of the evil Cetra Mother or not. This has been Bobby, aka Ask Me Media. Liberty, equality, fraternity, goodbye.